I've wanted to be an ophthalmologist since I was in medical school. It was actually a passion that came about from my interest in neurosciences. I've actually wanted to be a doctor since the age of 4. My mother actually dissuaded me from going into a scientific field. She wanted me to go into journalism or something like that, really utilize my right brain. She herself is an artist, so for her to see her daughter who loved doing math problems, that was a little different for her. With that being said, the actual compassionate side of taking care of patients, that humanity, that was really what drove me into sticking with the field. I generally don't like science fields in general, but it's just that humane side that really drove me into medicine and then ophthalmology because of my love for the actual engineering, architectural side of what puts us together, plus the surgery. I'm constantly reinvigorated being an ophthalmologist. There's always questions that arise, especially with burnout in medicine. I look at other fields of medicine that do not have the same level of physician satisfaction. But for myself, I'm routinely reminded at how lucky I am to be an ophthalmologist. We're able to do certain things, provide that instantaneous gratification of surgery, which is wonderful for both the surgeon as well as the patient, but then also to have those different sides of the actual practice where we can maintain long-term relationships or tailor our practice to maybe shorter-term relationships, but there's a lot to be said about being able to give somebody and restore a very, very important sense with vision. So I certainly think that, plus the continuous progress that is being made to better our field, that is not seen, that is quite stagnant in other fields of medicine, that all provides that stimulation and the knowing that I made the right decision to go into ophthalmology. In the last 5 years, there have been a lot of innovations within the anterior segment space. As a cornea specialist, who focuses on refractive cataract surgery and management of the ocular surface, that boom both in the different advanced technologies of lens implants as well as ocular surface disease management options have been two of the biggest sectors of innovation for me that has piqued my interest. Specifically as it relates to dry eye. I think understanding that meibomian gland disease is such a big part of it, plus management of architecture, and now recognizing that neurostimulation can just improve everything, both from tear film layer to architecture. That's a wow factor, and we're just, touching that. And then when you look at presbyopia correcting lenses, we still have maybe a little ways to go with accommodating lenses, but look at where we are with multifocality and trifocal lenses and where we are there. We're just in the first iteration of EDOF technology. As EDOF continues and really expands in that pseudo-accommodation it's able to provide, I really think we're going to be able to expand and give better quality of vision. So this is just the beginning, and that last 5 years really shows us what we have to look forward to in the next 5. The future of ophthalmology is in the right direction. It is moving in an upward motion, not just linear, but truly it is exponentially booming in innovation. And the reason that's so exciting is because many ophthalmologists recognize that for us to move forward as a field to help our patients, that requires a synergy between the clinician and industry to create technology and techniques, pharmacology, drug delivery devices, different software, but that back and forth input. And we do it so effortlessly, and you can see that because there's so much more investment, even from venture capital, that is being put into ophthalmology, and it's for good reason. It's because there really is a partnership there that is driving the engine behind the innovation within our field. The best piece of advice that I think I've ever received, well, one is learn to say no. I do think that that's important. Not saying no in itself, but rather if you are a yes person, stop before saying yes, because I do have a tendency to maybe overcommit. And there are only a certain number of hours in a day. But in addition, the reason I like to say yes is because of a really wise piece of advice that I read somewhere by Warren Buffett. And it was something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing, is that the shade that we experience under a tree and we get to enjoy was from a planted seed from years and years ago. So it shows you that the fruits of your labor, it can build something huge that others that can experience and be positively impacted from the small effort that you put in today. So that's a good reason, because I want to be able to, if I can do something that can potentially have that positive lasting impact into the future, whether it's within our field, for patients not directly that I take care of, but maybe other surgeons take care of, I want to say yes to that. You have to be true to yourself. If given an opportunity, if it's ever driven more by the dollar than the value of the proposition, if it is not something that you are truly interested or passionate about, then your effort into it will be less than authentic, somewhat superficial, and there is a greater chance for regret. So that is the one thing that I would say, whenever given an opportunity, I do like to step back and think, is this something that resonates with me before I want to participate and say yes to do. I have been extremely impressed with how OIS has grown in the last 10 years. I mean, truly, from the perspective of innovation and industry and who's who or what's going on, you guys are on top of it. I mean, you are at the very leading edge, on the pulse of what is very relevant, what is breaking technology. I mean, even today, for example, the year in review, I mean, what a great synopsis that Emmett provides to really give the breadth of the space of ophthalmology and what's happened from drug approval to device to hang-ups to hiccups. That kind of information, that is priceless, because that sort of synopsis you can't get elsewhere. And then you accompany that and you couple that with all the different offerings. Now you have your journal as well as other events that you have routinely, and it's just really valuable for those who are in industry as well as ophthalmologists who are interested in innovation and technology.